Hello, good morning. Welcome to day 5. We're over the halfway point now for this gratitude challenge. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so I'll start off with what I'm grateful for this morning. What I'm grateful for this morning is I'm busy preparing a workshop proposal for an organisation, and I'm exceptionally grateful because I found a really cool looking template in Canva, and that's helping assist me in putting together a pretty funky yet professional looking proposal that I'm going to send off this afternoon for running a workshop. And what I love is that that's coming together nice and easily, which is lovely. Hi guys who are jumping on. Yeah, so that's the main thing that I'm grateful for this morning. So I'm actually a little bit nervous about today's topic, and the topic is, what am I focusing on? And the reason why that I'm a little bit nervous about presenting this topic is that I'm going to touch on some areas that I learned quite some time ago. Some of these concepts originally learned, say 2015. Let's just say then. And what's been interesting is as the years have progressed, and I've never stopped with my learning, and I never will. I'm always forever attending workshops as a participant, and enhance, and not just workshops. Being a joy scientist and all the experiments that I do some pretty crazy, can be seen to be quite crazy things that I do. And what happens is that we learn things. Hey, Leah. What happens is that we learn things, and then sometimes we have to unlearn things, or we learn things that actually conflict with our original concepts or understanding. So I'm going to teach. I'm going to talk about some concepts that have actually shifted for me over time. I'm going to talk about them today. Talk. I'm writing a proposal about teaching, so that word's obviously in my brain. So things have shifted over time, and so today I'm going to talk about them in their original concepts, and we'll see how we go for time, and then I'm going to blow that all and talk about how that shifted for me, either tomorrow or Sunday, depending how we go. So the title that I have selected is, what am I focusing on? And so I've talked about the last few days how gratitude is really just a perspective that we get to choose. And so there's a saying, and it's quite a common one, you may have come across it before, and that is, what I focus on is what I get. And hence why the concept of gratitude, even though I think I posted an article just yesterday supporting the science of how it actually changes the structure of our brains, but the idea being that what we focus on is generally what we get. So a good example, its most common example is that if you decide that you're in need of purchasing a new vehicle, and you might decide that Hyundai i30s are a nice little car that is potentially something that you might look to purchase in the future. And then all of a sudden, as you're driving around and going around your business on a day-to-day basis, you keep all of a sudden seeing all of these I-30s on the road. And it's like, wow, it's actually a really popular car. It seems like all of a sudden, because I've got an interest in getting one, that all of a sudden everyone else has got I-30s and driving them around. Now, of course, nothing in the reality external to us has changed other than what we're focusing on. And so, as I just said, what we focus on is what we get. So, oh, we've got a few coming on. This is great. Welcome, everyone. So, if I think things are bad and the world's a pretty shitty place right now, then my perspective, everything that I'm going to be seeing is going to be supportive of that. My mind assists me in gathering evidence to support the belief that everything is shitty right now. Okay, so this isn't just something made up. Okay, we've all got our own personal filters, and what happens is our minds are constantly taking on all of the senses, all of the sensory information, and it's taking notes and filing and categorizing things as to whether they support our belief systems, the things that we already believe and know to be true, or whether it's in opposition of that. And effectively, our filters are only taking in the information that support what we already believe in this world. So as you can see, the idea of choosing a perspective that is based around what we're already grateful for is exceptionally powerful. It's a powerful bridge to that feeling of joy, okay, because we're deliberately going out and consciously seeking things that we are already feeling pretty good about in our lives, and that's creating a new feedback loop in our minds so that all of a sudden we're paying more attention to things that we're already quite feeling good about in our lives. So this comes into play in so many areas. For me personally, like I loved learning this side of things originally because it just supported me in the idea of goal setting, which I was already a big fan and advocate of, and the idea of actually taking time out to sit down and go, well, what are the things that I want, and writing them down, and then breaking them down into little steps and then going out and achieving those was already something that was so a big part of my day-to-day anyway. So the part of the brain that sort of plays a part of this idea of what we focus on is what we get is called the RAS, or RAS standing for Reticular Activator System, because that's not a mouthful. And so this part of the brain is actually responsible for our alertness and our focus. So when we're in the state of sleep, moving into waking up, that's when our RAS actually comes online, okay, and it's doing all the work to sort of get us back here and focusing on what it is that we want to do at the beginning of our day. And then at the same time in the evening, it's the one that's sort of slowing us down and switching us off, hopefully into what is a good restful night's sleep. So the RAS is a funny one because it's effectively sitting there waiting for instructions on what we want to focus on. And it's a pretty clever little thing. It's always paying attention, whether we're aware of it or not. The trainer who taught me this She's gorgeous, and she used to refer to it like a puppy dog that's waiting for you to give it an instruction. It's just sitting there eagerly, like waiting as though you're going to throw it a bone. Okay, so the funny thing is with this, with the RAS, is that it only processes it processes everything. So we're going to be really careful about what instructions we're giving it. So for example, if I say to you, whatever you do, do not think about a purple kangaroo with yellow spots. It's actually impossible to actually not think of a purple kangaroo with yellow spots. Okay, so the RAS itself does not process no's. So I can't, I've got to be really careful with my language when I want to engage with the RAS and make sure that I'm giving it the actual instructions of what I want and not telling it what I don't want. Okay, I don't want to be poor. And what the RAS will hear then is poor, be poor. Great. I'll go off and find you evidence and opportunities that will assist you in being poor. Okay, so getting very specific about the things that we want and making sure that it's framed in a positive sense is particularly useful for the RAS. Okay. Now, so this is where we can start getting into a little bit of a paradox or a little bit of me contradicting and conflicting myself. So some of you may have heard of the law of attraction, okay? And the idea being is that we attract in the things that we're thinking about. So it's very, very similarly attached to the concept of the RAS, which is really interesting. And so just really being mindful and conscious about what thoughts and processes and things that we're focusing on in our mind, because what happens is our thoughts become our actions, our beliefs, and ultimately it creates the reality that we start to see externally. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because consciously our mind is really we're only conscious of around 4 to 10%, depending on which research you look at, of what's actually going on in our minds, which is a little bit concerning, because that leaves up to about 96% that we can't necessarily identify what's going on. So I might have my 4%, okay, and given that we can only really consciously be identifying, I think I haven't looked at this for a bit, 7 to 10 chunks or bits of information. Okay, so very quickly, if I span through consciously what's going on right now, number 1 is what I'm saying to you. Number 2 is what I'm visually seeing on the screen in front of me. 3, there's some background noises going on. 4, the temperature of the room right now. So already, for, give or take a few more chunks of information, I'm going to say next, how I think this is being received, whether I look okay in this video. All right, so it's very quickly those 7 conscious chunks are being utilized. So there is the large portion of my brain unconsciously, I don't know what it's focusing on. Okay, I can control consciously what I'm attracting in or what I'm focusing on. Okay, but there's this large portion. Okay, I don't know what it's doing. Okay, but ultimately that's playing a bigger portion of what's actually creating my reality of what I'm viewing in the world right now. Okay, so I'm conscious of time. As I said, this was going to span over the next few lives. I knew I was going to hit it all today. So utilizing the power of the 4 to 10% consciously, we know what we're doing, what we're focusing on, what we're saying to ourselves, what we're saying out loud. Okay, what am I choosing to consciously focus on, and making sure it's actually focused on the things that I actually want? Yeah, okay. We'll talk about the unconscious side of things leading into tomorrow. Yeah, because we're at 15 minutes. So I'll leave you with that. Yeah, all right. I'll leave you with that. So what am I consciously focusing on? And how is that impacting my view of the world and the results that I'm attracting into my life? Am I getting the results that I want in life? And if I'm not, could it be that there's some things that I need to shift and change in my conscious mindset? Whew, okay, that wasn't so bad. As I said, there's going to be some more contradictions coming on, so stay tuned. So what do we got? 2 more days, Saturday and Sunday. We'll see what times I end up doing these lives on. Definitely the weekend always shifts things. So thank you again for listening. Much gratitude for your attention as per usual, and have a fantastic day. Thank you.